consults with, he only manages Republican candidates. So he sticks strictly to that, and he's very good. He's I wouldn't have been there in those 8 years. As I said, I ran against, if you remember, the mayor's wife, Margot Fisher, okay, in 1996, which was Mayor Fisher back then, his wife. Lost her the first race in 96, beat her the second race in 98, beat her again in 2000. If it wasn't for Jack Hebert and his brilliant strategy of, you know, his how he handled our campaign, I wouldn't be talking to you today about my, 8 great years. So.
Is he a partner of Jack LaValle?
No. But actually, Jack Hebert worked for Jack LaValle many years ago, so that's how he got started.
Do you support the construction of a light rail system in Pinellas County?
I only support it if it's by voter mandate. The rail system, if people want it, do I support it? No. Do I support it? No. But if it's, if we're going to have any kind of a light rail system throughout the state, it's got to come from the local first, where we actually have local light rail, and then you can combine if you want to. But I just don't. I don't see it right now. People are too dependent on cars. It's too easy to get around on cars. I've been to Europe a couple of times, of course, other bigger cities, and it's a different way. Just the mentality here is cars, and so I think it's a few years away right now. It's just a deep dark hole. I mean, if we had the money and people want to spend it, and again, there's a voter mandate by far, yes, but I do not support it.
Do you think that the Pinellas County Commission should forward it to a referendum, or should they be able to make a decision about it at the local level, at their level?
Well, I don't think they'll make a decision on their own. I don't think they will at all. I think it'll be a voter mandate. They'll put it on the ballot. But I know many of them, and they're very tentative about it. It's just one of those areas. In some bigger cities, in Miami, it's starting to work. In our city and even Tampa, it's we have probably one of the best road systems in the state here in St. Petersburg. There's never a traffic jam in St. Petersburg. So again, I just don't see. It's just not the time yet. Now,
would you fight for that, Stan?
Oh, would I would I oppose it?
Would you fight to oppose it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Sharia law.
Excuse me.
Will you support a law that limits Florida legislation and judicial review to only consider U.S. and Florida law?
Yes, absolutely, no doubt.
Explain that.
We have a lot of history, a lot of tradition here, and with our Constitution, our constitutional laws, our articles, and it's all based on our past history. And so, while there are other types of governments, other types of religions that all come into play, our whole theory has been based on Judeo-Christian, and so that's our tradition, that's our system. There's a lot of great religions out there. I'm not going to deny any one of them. They're all important. But our history is based on our founding fathers and their belief of how a government should be run and how the people should be able to manage their government, if you will, or work with their government. And I don't see that. There's no reason to see that change.
Okay. Do you reject any form of tax designated for any type of new passenger rail in Florida?
New passenger rail, I'm assuming, okay, rail. Would I oppose it? Yes.
Do you reject, the other question, I'm sorry.
Do I reject it?
Do you reject any form of tax?
Yes.
To pay for it? Okay.
Yeah. Because the reason I said I had to ask that question, because I'm sure there's going to be, we're going to be looking at some potential tax issues for roads, and that's a whole different subject. But that's rails. I get it.
Will you support drilling in the Gulf, and under what conditions?
No. We have really right now, and we used to have 3 industries. Our 2 industries, right? We used to have construction was a big industry, and it's coming back. Agricultural, which is a big industry, is still there. You're laughing at me. Well, it's coming back eventually. So eventually, and our last is tourism. People do not come here to see Mickey Mouse. They do not come here to Universal Studios. They come here for the beaches. Whether they come from other parts of the country, whether they come from other countries. The first and foremost reason they come here is for our beaches. And it's not by accident that I think it's up to a dozen of our state beaches have been designated the top beaches in the world by Mr. Sandman, Mr. Beach, that's his nickname. But we got beautiful beaches, and why? I mean, why would we even potentially have an impact on them? So, there's other ways to get natural resources, and I'm against it for the beaches.
Florida is now a sanctuary state for illegals when compared to other surrounding states due to failure to enact legislation on immigration in the 2012 session. The U.S. Supreme Court recently endorsed an Arizona law requiring employers to use E-Verify. The court also ruled that Arizona could suspend or revoke the business licenses of companies that knowingly hire illegal immigrants. In tackling illegal immigration in the 2013 session, will you support mandatory E-Verify for all Florida employers from the first employee, enforcement at the street level by law officers, and enforcement in our schools?
Yes. I mean, we're in a computer age now. There's no reason why you can't verify via fingerprints, via codes, via licenses. And I think, we do know, I'm sure you're all very much aware that we're an agricultural state. And even in our tourism industry, I mean, we do need sometimes people from outside the country to come on work permits, legally, work visas, and work here. And as long as, we can document those people. But when they bring their families and other people along, and that's when I have a problem. So we need to verify who's here. I mean, there's, every other country does it. So I don't understand why the United States or even Florida has to be any different, so.
And the last question, what would be the first action you would take as a legislator?
Well, since I'm considered kind of a senior, I know where the bathrooms are, so I don't have to worry about finding those up there. The first one is some job implementation or job legislation. And one of the things that I see that's our missing link is, well, as an example, Governor Rick Scott wrote a letter to CEOs in New York City asking them to come to Florida, which is a very nice, noble idea. Okay, what he didn't do to come to St. Petersburg and look at some of the small businesses that are right now growing in people's garages and are starting with 2 and 3 people and need some help either through education or business loans to get their business growing. People that come from other states, you have to incentivize them. It usually means with a tax credit, tax break, land, and there's no doubt there's some. SRI is a great example that came here. That the company downtown that came here and are doing great, but it costs us a lot of money to bring them here. You take someone who is a Floridian that wants to stay here, wants to grow here, wants to live here. You help them grow their business, and there are ways to do that. Okay, that's what we should be nurturing. We should be nurturing Floridians to build their business. Our economy will improve not by getting new companies that come, the big companies coming to Florida. If employment growth always comes from the small business sector. Small companies, adding employees, building their business, okay, and growing. That's how our economy always jump starts after recession, and this one's no different.
Okay. Well, we appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.